6, we will have more on the resignation of Marshall Glickman. Join us then.
President Clinton, House Speaker Gingrich, and the threatened U.S. government shutdown. Many Americans could lose their paychecks. Others have their home mortgage payments go up. Report just in from the front. In Bosnia, the cold realities U.S. forces will be up against. And a reality check. This phone bank for hire for simulating, manipulating, and manufacturing special interest lobbying that really works.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. President Clinton and Republicans in Congress are heading closer to the budget abyss and the possibility of the first U.S. government default on financial obligations in history. This, as President Clinton made it clear again today that he will veto any stopgap spending legislation designed to keep the government up and running after Monday night's budget deadline if it includes Republican conditions he considers extreme and unfair. Republicans took the dare today and began sending the president veto bait. Rita Braver reports.
The House today finished work on temporary bills to keep the government functioning for the next few weeks. But the president is vowing to veto the measures, even if it forces a partial government shutdown, because he claims the bills, like the long-term Republican budget, will harm the country more.
Last night, Republicans in Congress voted to raise Medicare premiums. They voted to cut education and to cut it deeply. And they voted to overturn 3 decades of bipartisan environmental safeguards.
The Senate won't actually complete the bills till Monday, so Mr. Clinton took a swing at Congress for recessing today.
I believe Congress should stay in this weekend and finish this work.
But it was the president's golf swing that caused the real fracas. News that he'd headed out to the links today landed in the House of Representatives like a shot into a sand trap.
Clinton made a quick trip to the White House briefing room and then went golfing.
Republican members made it their theme of the day. Their leaders quick to grasp a public relations bonanza.
How can you all take seriously a man who says we should go in and work and then goes to play golf? I mean, at what point do you just break up laughing and think, nice chutzpah, but give us a break? I mean, you know, this is a guy who hasn't done any serious work this week.
The White House, of course, takes strong exception to that. Now, tonight, the Republican leaders sent the president an invitation to come to the Capitol tomorrow to talk about the budget. But the White House says no meeting unless the Republicans have already moved closer to the president's position. That's not likely to have happened, Dan.
Rita Braver. If the government does run out of money, President Clinton has already reviewed contingency plans to furlough and stop paying almost half the government's 2 million workers. Among services that would stop, benefit checks for veterans, national park visitor centers, and monuments. Also possibly taking a hit, your interest rates going higher, including variable home mortgage payments. Balkan leaders signed their first formal agreement in Ohio today. The leaders of Bosnia and Croatia agreed to go ahead with a political and economic federation within Bosnia. It's designed to balance the new power of the Bosnian Serbs. Secretary of State Christopher called it an important first step toward a full settlement. If and when any full settlement is reached, President Clinton has promised to send some 20,000 U.S. troops to help guarantee it on the ground. Plans call for the Americans to be deployed around the Muslim enclave of Tuzla. CBS News correspondent Alan Pizzi crossed the mountains to Tuzla for a rare visit.
These are the front lines where the Americans will be deployed, and they're like no place today's U.S. military has ever gone before. Enemy trenches are within rifle shot of each other, manned by troops with little faith in the peace process. The Serb soldiers who live in the trenches like us may want peace, one Bosnian soldier said, but their political leaders are fanatics. American GIs who don't understand such thinking might talk to Almir Terzic. Only 23, he commands 100 Bosnian government troops in the hills around Tuzla. Wounded twice, Almir says that after what he has gone through for more than 3 years, he and his men are not prepared to step aside to make room for American troops. It's not that we don't trust the Americans, he says. But our families are close to this place, and we think they're safer if we are here. The U.S. troops will do more than just monitor these front lines. They'll also interact with the local population, the families of the soldiers out here. And while the Americans can expect a warm welcome, they won't be hailed as saviors. People around here have been through far too much to be impressed by mere good intentions. In Tuzla, a single shell from Serb lines killed more than 70 young people last spring. Their cemetery is where 14-year-olds like Jasna Hachimovic come instead of hanging out at the local equivalent of the mall.
We clean the graves because they're our friends, and I don't like to see that dirty, and I love them.
Zineta Hedanovic, a widow, lost her only son in the massacre. Only her grief is greater than her bitterness. The word America means something powerful, she says. They should have been here 2 years ago. Now I have nothing. But people here are also determined survivors. A cafe blown apart in the bombing has reopened. Another place where America's newfound concern for Bosnia is viewed with skepticism.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they care, but my question is, why would they suddenly care more now than 3 years ago?
UN troops here also have doubts about the American deployment. Heavy armor will be the backbone of the U.S. operation, but the UN has found it makes already terrible roads even worse. And that won't be the only problem.
Well, along the confrontation line, both parties have used a lot of mines to protect their defensive lines. And some of them are probably marked on maps, but not all of them.
And now the mines are under the snow. This is not exactly a place that's saying, welcome to Bosnia. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, near Tuzla.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, Dr. Bob Arnott with a tough look at new claims of a potential AIDS vaccine. And Bernard Goldberg's America, backlash from a story about a coach, an assault case, and a championship team.
Your little program last Friday night on Nebraska Husker football was totally out of line.
You've always made a great team. Together growing, dreaming, caring, and sharing the rewards along the way. Park Avenue. For the comfort, for the luxury, for the quality. Congratulations, you've earned it. Buick Park Avenue.
This is big. It's Red Lobster's Lobster Fest. Enormous rocktails, irresistible maintails. There's just one word for a fest this big. Huge. Lobsters everywhere. Lobster Fest.
Hurry to Red Lobster tonight.
Presenting Casey. Pound for pound, he uses more energy than most dogs, twice his size. That's why we make Mighty Dog. It has the perfect balance of nutrients he needs. It makes your dog a Mighty Dog.
New AIDS research published today could offer a new line of treatment down the road, possibly a vaccine. The key, discovery of a rare but naturally occurring form of the AIDS virus that doesn't cause death or illness. Health correspondent Dr. Bob Arnott has the story.
These AIDS patients in Australia are the subject of today's remarkable report in the journal Science. All of them were infected with the AIDS virus 11 to 14 years ago. But to this day, not one sign or symptom of AIDS.
I believe that these findings point to new directions in vaccine and drug development against HIV/AIDS.
Here's why. The strain of the virus they carry has a defective gene called NEF, which weakens the virus. A similar strain, which infects but doesn't cause illness, is already being tested in monkeys as a potential vaccine.
It provides me with greater encouragement that such a live vaccine approach can be safe in humans.
However, most AIDS researchers are afraid that infecting healthy people with a live AIDS virus is playing with fire, since it may mutate into a far more dangerous and even deadly form.
When you talk about the live attenuated, you only have the concept in an animal and a great reluctance among scientists and regulators to make that next step in human because predominantly of the safety issue.
But for populations at an extraordinarily high risk, even a potentially dangerous vaccine could do more good than harm.
The important point to consider is whether a potentially risky vaccine approach still may have a great benefit in particular target populations.
With AIDS at record levels in much of the developing world and no promising vaccine in sight, any action might seem preferable to none. Dr. Bob Arnott, CBS News, New York.
Straight ahead, a reality check, high-tech lobbying, an amazing simulation designed to put real pressure on your congressman.
There are many prescription pain medicines, and a doctor can prescribe any of them. Yet 82% of doctors surveyed have prescribed Arudis. And now, for the first time, it's available in a non-prescription strength. New Arudis KT. It's so potent, just 25 milligrams is as effective as 400 milligrams of Motrin IV, 440 of Aleve, or 1,000 milligrams of extra-strength Tylenol. New Arudis KT, the potent medicine for pain.
February, the beginning of the long Antarctic winter. When the last plane leaves the South Pole, so does any possibility of outside help. Left behind as the night comes on, the U.S. research station depends on Caterpillar, a world leader in diesel generators, to stay alive, proving when it comes to survival, we're the fittest.
Finally, great popcorn from your microwave. Presto Power Pop Microwave Multi-Popper. Exclusive power-based concentrates microwaves to pop virtually every kernel. Pop with oil for a buttery flavor. Pop without oil for a healthier, low-fat snack. A third cup of popcorn, 3 quarts of crunch. Other microwave poppers can't measure up. See? Dishwasher safe, too. Nothing pops like Power Pop. That's why it's endorsed by Orville Redenbacher.
Power Pop puts power in the pop.
From Presto.
Teenagers hanging out, just something you have to live with, right? Well, not in this town.
You have to do something about the kids hanging out on the street. You have to.
But wait till you hear what the grown-ups did about it.
The town allowed this to happen to these kids, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
The town fathers versus the teens. Did they go too far? Eye on America Monday on the CBS Evening News.
When it comes to manipulating and pressuring Congress, old-fashioned grassroots lobbying can be very effective. So what's to keep someone from offering state-of-the-art fake grassroots lobbying for hire? It turns out, nothing. Case in point, a grassroots campaign master who's part lawn doctor and spin doctor in tonight's CBS Evening News reality check by Eric Ingberg.
Yeah. Senator Bro's office. Senator Gregg's office. Senator Hutchison's office.
When it's the folks back home on the line.
Okay, are you calling from North Dakota?
Congressmen listen real hard.
Okay, so as it is, you're against it?
And when corporate America wants Capitol phone lines humming so Congress feels the pressure, they call this man.
You get some good hits today?
Jack Bonner, the fastest of a new breed of hired guns known in the trade as grassroots lobbyists.
We can reach a lot of people very quickly here.
He can orchestrate a frenzy of calls and letters to members of Congress that look just like spontaneous public opinion.
Well, you're looking at nearly $1 million of investment here.
Bonner's state-of-the-art phone banks have helped business clients influence hundreds of votes, from blocking a fuel economy measure to ginning up 6,000 calls a day against the Clinton health plan.
We move votes. We're paid to move votes.
From a command post on Washington's lobbyist roll.
I'm calling about an important bill your two senators are going to be voting on this week.
Bonner's well-coached teams use the tools of telemarketing to target people likely to agree with his client's position.
Does this sound like something you might want to support?
If the constituent says yes, okay, presto.
With our computer system, we can transfer you into the senator's office.
All right, great. Let me transfer you through that. Let's transfer this call over to your representative's office. That's a successful patch.
Critics say this isn't real grassroots opinion at all.
I can attach your signature to a mailgram.
They call it AstroTurf, manufactured to look like the real thing. Whatever you call it, it works.
It's very potent. When a member starts getting hundreds, sometimes thousands of calls, they're going to turn around on an issue.
They're trying to steal the people's government. They are manufacturing public opinion where none exists.
Congressman John Dingell says some of the high-tech lobbyists have resorted to outright lies. Twice he has seen Congress hit with a flood of mail that included letters from people who were dead.
It is a technique which is not only open to vicious kinds of fraud and deceit, but it quite frankly invites that sort of behavior.
The techniques are so refined that even as laws are being written in committee markup sessions, hovering lobbyists on cell phones can call in a grassroots strike. They don't even have to leave the room. And for an added fee...
Overnight, we've been able to get people to fly into town and actually get members of the Senate to walk out of a markup and meet with the person to discuss it.
This is a mockery of grassroots.
Michael Perchik, who trains citizen groups to lobby, says AstroTurf campaigns give wealthy corporate interests an unfair advantage.
Where there's money and where there's technology, there's really an ability to create an illusion that can fool even the most sophisticated congressman.
The more people like Jack Bonner taking their message to the people, the healthier it is for democracy, whether it's the environmentalists, whether it's General Motors, whether it's the AFL-CIO. All of that's better, and the more, the better.
Terrified of angry voters, politicians are now paying more attention than ever to voices from Main Street. The irony is that often those voices are being fabricated inside the Beltway. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
CBS is under criticism because the CBS News program 60 Minutes will not be presenting an interview it had planned on the tobacco industry. That interview was with a former tobacco industry executive. Correspondent Edie Magnus has the latest on tobacco and TV.
The story originally planned by 60 Minutes was to include an interview between veteran correspondent Mike Wallace and a tobacco company insider. But the former executive had signed an agreement not to disclose what he knew about the industry. Citing legal reasons, CBS pulled most of the interview.
And the people who own the network are saying, you can't do it. Because if you do it, it is going to conceivably cost this company more than the net worth of the company. So how, as a reporter, do you handle it?
CBS really should have been more courageous, but the fact is they were facing a real legal problem because the law now says that you can be held liable for inducing someone to break a promise, even if you do it in order to tell the public the truth.
The decision by CBS management comes at a time when the tobacco companies are vigorously attacking press reports that make the industry look bad.
We apologize to our audience, Philip Morris and Reynolds.
In August, ABC News issued a stunning public apology to help settle a $10 billion lawsuit brought by two tobacco companies. Critics say the CBS decision is just the latest example of the chilling effect of big lawsuits on aggressive journalism.
Even if you are sure of your facts, being sure of your facts, doing a correct story is no longer enough protection because, they can literally drain you till there's nothing left.
This Sunday, Wallace will broadcast a report on the tobacco industry, including the tough tactics tobacco companies employ to keep a lid on information that might be damaging.
Is there information that people should have about cigarettes that they're not going to have because you're not going to broadcast this interview?
Yes.
Today, CBS News President Eric Ober defended the network's decision not to broadcast key portions of the controversial interview. Mr. Ober said, quote, "The atmosphere is tougher than ever. However, we have scrutinized this story the same way we scrutinize other sensitive pieces," end quote. Dan?
Edie Magnus. Nebraska football fans voice their criticism of us coming up in Bernard Goldberg's America.
This is a really beautiful day. Soup weather. There's this cream and chicken with vegetables from Healthy Choice. That is rich stuff. Great big vegetables, lean chicken. Just makes you feel good. And only has 2 grams of fat. Beautiful. With Healthy Choice, I can eat what I like.
Will that be a window or aisle? Sir, window. Aisle seat.
Well, at least you know where to sit when you get home. The Accord Coupe from Honda. Possibly the world's easiest decision.
We're the Kellys, and we own and operate Torno service style lumber and hardware. We try to be good neighbors.
We've had some of the same customers since 1973.
People come with problems, and we solve problems.
He's great.
The Service Star Good Neighbor sale is going on now. It offers terrific prices. We have Seaboard wild bird food on sale and Mako liquid nails. Great prices, top quality products. You can come in, buy the product, renew some friendships, and leave with a good deal.
You may be taking chances if you don't take a calcium supplement. And it could take 20 years or more to find out you needed one. By then, it may be too late. So which one should you take? Oscal. Compare Oscal to many store brands, which has been tested and proven effective in clinical studies. Oscal comes from a natural calcium source that retains its natural nutrients. Oscal. Recommended by more doctors. Oscal. And it costs only pennies more a day. Don't take chances. Take Oscal.
There are those among us with very simple tastes. They only want the best. And for them, there's Fancy Feast gourmet cat food. Exceptionally moist and delicious. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
I'm going to the show.
Oksana Bayos, she'll shake up the ice and leave you spellbound. The Riders Lady Skating Championship, Saturday.
It's on CBS.
Nobody blows smoke at you like the tobacco industry. What they've done to keep the public from knowing all there is to know about cigarettes. Sunday on 60 Minutes.
Israeli police arrested a sixth suspect today in the assassination of Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. He is Michael Epstein, described as a 23-year-old engineering student from Tel Aviv. Police say they think he knew about plans to kill Rabin. At least in the short term, Rabin's death has brought a surge of support for the peace process he began with the Arabs. As correspondent Bob Simon reports, the movement is being energized by a new generation of Israelis.
It's the kids who've taken the lead this week, everywhere. In front of Rabin's house, at the place where he was killed. Occasionally with their parents, but usually with each other. Sometimes praying, sometimes writing. Often still, silent, and alone.
Surprisingly, all the people in Jerusalem were teenagers. Because we're in the age before the army, peace means more than us than maybe to our parents, because if there's going to be a war, we're going to be the one that's going to fight in it.
These teenagers were born far from the Zionist struggle, far from the wars which seared their parents' lives. Their world was Pink Floyd, Pulp Fiction, and MTV. But if growing up means learning sadness, an entire generation was shocked into adulthood this week.
I think all the time about his cold body lying there. Just lying there, and he can't do anything about it. And I want to shout him, get up. We need you. We want you to come here back.
Classes were suspended. Kids went to school to bear witness, to realize that the lessons they'd been taught, that Israel was a different and special place, may have been wrong.
I personally would never expect such a thing to happen here in Israel. I mean, in America, okay. I mean, it's like, but not in Israel.
They learned something else this week, too. An old lesson. Never trust anyone over 30. Except, of course, Yitzhak Rabin.
When we let the adults handle the situation, look what happened.
In this most solemn time, what they've understood perhaps better than anything else is the danger of silence.
I feel guilty. Guilty. I heard the people from the right screaming, Rabin is a killer, and I thought his way is the right way. But I never do anything about it.
Rabin is dead and you'll never be quiet again.
I can't allow it to myself. We must make sure that his death won't be for nothing.
The Bible lesson of the week, in the words of the prophet Isaiah, and a little child shall lead them. Israelis can light candles and mourn and sing, but they cannot escape the question, what will become of their country? And there's no way for them to answer that now. But if there's a ray of light anywhere, it is in the eyes of these children, the children of Israel. Bob Simon, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Lasagna, sausage, and a spicy meatball.
But you know I can't eat this. I'll be up all night with heartburn.
Your appetizer.
New Pepsid AC acid controller.
This one little pill can stop heartburn before it starts. Just take this one now before dinner. It'll prevent heartburn all night long.
Bless you.
Pepsid, now available without a prescription.
I think it needs a little more spice.
You can be heartburn-free with new Pepsid AC, the strongest, longest acid controller.
Let me guess. One side of you craves easy chair comfort, while the other side itches for performance, right? Well, meet Buick Regal, with its famous 3800 V6 engine and Grand Touring suspension. Add to that an all-new interior with body-sensitive seats. And finally, there's a car for the two of you. Buick Regal.
Come on, guys.
Hi, Fran. How are you? Coffee and a jelly pill. Complete bran flakes. What's he says? Like I can't make a change. What's with you? I look like this when I joined the force? Well, no. I eat junk all day. I come home, I say I'm going to work out. I never do. I got to do something.
Thousands of people have started turning their lives around with 4 little words. Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes.
Hey, Fran. Can I make a switch here? I feel like I'm married to you.
Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. It's a start.
Would we claim the Norelco razor shaves closer than ever, without hundreds of tests to back it up? Say our precision groove helps the Norelco lift and cut system shave closer, without proof? No. We wouldn't say it's our closest shave ever without science, sensors, tests. But of all the tests that prove it's closer, the most convincing requires the personal touch. The Norelco razor, our closest shave ever.
Fans of the #1 ranked University of Nebraska football team are displeased, to say the least, with a report by Bernard Goldberg on this program last week. Many objected to what he said about Coach Tom Osborne and the coach's reinstatement of a star player in trouble with the law. And they let us know in a flood of phone calls. Tonight, a follow-up in Bernard Goldberg's America.
99% of the calls came from Nebraska football fans.
I thought your little program last Friday night on Nebraska Husker football was totally out of line.
And 99% were negative.
I just say shame on you. At the bottom of the slime pool.
Your story was biased and inappropriate.
Football is more than a game in Nebraska. It's the state's claim to fame. And a lot of Nebraskans see the Cornhuskers as a reflection of themselves and their values. Hardworking, loyal, decent. So, when we reported that Coach Tom Osborne had reinstated a superstar running back who beat up his ex-girlfriend and dragged her down a flight of steps by her hair, and when we suggested that Coach Osborne might actually have taken the player back in order to help win a second straight national championship, Nebraska fans saw red.
Tom Osborne is probably one of the finest, best persons that could ever be in Nebraska or any place in the United States. He does not care about winning.
What was it, a slow news day that you had to pick on him?
Most Nebraskans, like most other Americans, don't get worked up over massacres in Bosnia or presidential debates or what's going on in Congress. Only a few things arouse our passion these days. Religion is one, sports is another. And in Nebraska, it's hard to tell one from the other. Eli Chesson is a Nebraska psychiatrist and Cornhusker fan who's writing a book about violent football players.
How important is football here in Nebraska?
It's really like a religion, and football fans here are true believers.
Think he's exaggerating?
Tom Osborne, although he does not walk on water, he clearly floats.
So when Nebraska pride mixes with near religious fervor, it should be no surprise that we were seen not only as rude, but as sacrilegious. I'm Bernard Goldberg.
I am a woman, and I do not believe any man should beat a woman. But what you have done tonight is beat our state.
We hear you. With that in the tobacco business, this has been, well, an interesting week. Dan Rather reporting. I'll see you next week.